Welcome back to MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things magic. It is Sunday Fun Day here at MTG Burgeoning, and in today's video, we're going to make the Changeling Pool 8 cards deeper. What's up, MTG BC, baby? That is the MTG Burgeoning community, and as you see before you, it is our current Changeling Pool. If you missed any of the previous installments in this current deck building series, click on the links in the description below, check out the full deck list at tappedout.net, and it'll bring you right up to speed. We are about to make our current 75 card Changeling Pool 8 cards deeper. We have 8 more additions to make for tribes that have not yet been fully represented in our Changeling Pool. So let's get right down to it and get to our next 8 Changeling Pool participants. We have, at 1 and 1 green mana for a 2/2 body, we have Squirrel Noble. Other squirrels we control get +1/+1. You guessed it, folks, this will be the squirrel representative of the Changeling Pool. Splash! Next up, we have same mana value, just different color. We have Thing in the Ice. 1 and a blue for a 0/4 horror with Defender. Thing in the Ice enters the battlefield with 4/+1. I'm sorry, with 4 counters, 4 ice counters. All right, let's try that one again. Number 2, we have Thing in the Ice. 1 and a blue for a 0/4 horror with Defender. It enters the battlefield with 4 ice counters. And whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, we remove an ice counter from Thing in the Ice, and then we transform it as long as there are no ice counters on it. So when that last ice counter comes off, we take it out, we transform it, and it becomes an Awoken Horror, a Kraken Horror for 7/8. And when it transforms, return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hands. So Thing in the Ice will be our horror representative in our Changeling Pool. Again, for anyone who's newer to the series, our current 99 card splash Shapeshifter with Changeling deck has 15 slots available for it each time we sit down to play to pull any of these 15 cards to help strengthen the deck. No game sitting down with this deck should ever be the same when we're pulling 15 random cards from our Changeling Pool each and every time we sit down to play. All right, next up, we have a Spore Crown Thallid. 1 and a green. It's a fungus. It's 2/2. Each other creature we control that's a fungus or sapling gets +1/+1. As Slimefoot the Stowaway is our sapling representative, Spore Crown Thallid will be our fungus representative. So take a dive into the pool, baby. Psh! All right, next up, when we had revisions for this deck after its pseudo-completion a couple of episodes back, we removed the Mirror Reservoir from the actual deck because, well, it was ineffective, inconsistent, and just was getting dusty sitting there on the battlefield. So we needed to add some Mirror representative to the Changeling Pool in order to make up for that loss. Enter Mirror Galvanizer. It's a mirror for a mana value of 3. It's a 2/2. Other mirror creature we control get +1/+1. And we can tap 1, tap Mirror Galvanizer, and we can untap each other mirror we control. Very, very good combat surprise for our opponents. All of a sudden we've got some blockers that maybe they didn't even know we had. Mirror Galvanizer, you are number 4. Splash. Next up, we have our first Planeswalker addition to the Changeling Pool, and that comes in the form of Grist the Hunger Tide. 1 black and a green. Grist comes into play with 3 loyalty counters. However, as long as Grist the Hunger Tide isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. So in our hand, in our library, in exile, in the graveyard, it's just an insect and not a planeswalker. However, when we get it onto the battlefield, it is a planeswalker, and this is what it's going to do for us. We'll +1 to create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then mill a card. If an insect card was milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. Again, all of our shapeshifters with Changeling are insects. We can -2 and we may sacrifice a creature, and when we do, we can destroy target creature or planeswalker. So this will definitely give us a little more assistance with some spot removal. And if we're fortunate enough to get 5 or more loyalty counters, and we can do Grist's Big Bang, we'll take off 5 of those counters, and each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. And knowing, aside from just the milling aspect that Grist represents here with his +1 ability, you know how many creatures can get put into graveyards during a typical game of Commander. So Grist is the insect representative in the Changeling Pool. Splash. All right, next up, we did not have a solitary zombie representative in our Changeling Pool. Yes, we have the Death Baron. He gives +1/+1 and death touch to zombies and skeletons, and he was elected to be the skeleton representative of the Changeling Pool. Well, meet the Undead War Chief, the Changeling Pool's solitary zombie representative. 2 and 2 black on a 1/1 body. Zombie spells we play cost 1 less to play, which means all of our shapeshifters with Changeling will cost a little less mana, including Morophon, our commander. Zombies we control get +2/+1. So it's a mana reducer, it's a mana cost reducer and a lord. And plus, notice it doesn't say other zombies you control get +2/+1. So the Undead War Chief comes in and it's a 4/3 for 4 mana, buffing our dudes and reducing their mana costs. Undead War Chief, welcome to the deep end, baby. Splash. All right, we are down to 2 more cards to add to our ever-growing list of our Changeling Pool representatives. And of course, if you have any suggestions or comments on any of the creature types that have not yet made it into the Changeling Pool, please leave those comments in the comment section below. I will be happy to keep increasing the depth of our Changeling Pool. Next up, we have an artifact going in, Altar of the Goyf. It has a mana value of 5. It's a tribal artifact, and it's a Lurgoyf. Whenever a creature we control attacks alone, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in all graveyards. Lurgoyf creatures we control have trample. Of course, our shapeshifters with Changeling are also Lurgoyfs, so we get to have trample for our squad, plus a nice pseudo-exalted ability if we have some creatures in the graveyard and just want to send one of our dudes out into combat. Altar of the Goyf is our Lurgoyf representative for our Changeling Pool. Splash. All right, we are down to our last addition for this video. This is card number 8. This will be Changeling representative overall number 83, and it's going to be Gargos, Vicious Watcher. 3 and triple green. Now, I will stop right here and absolutely address, prior to the revisions we made with the mana base, before we decided to really hunker down and include cards that are going to give mana of any color to all of our spells and creatures. Well, creatures are spells too, but you know what I mean. I probably would not have considered triple green here in a 5-color deck. Even now, it's a little uneasy, but I'm pretty sure we can make that work. Because we don't have any other Hydra representatives, and we got to have one in there. So, Gargos Vicious Watchers, 3 and triple green on an 8/7 body with Vigilance, and Hydra spells we cast cost 4 less to cast. So that is an amazing ability. So if you think about it like this, with the number of shapeshifters with Changeling we have in the deck, if we were able to get Gargos into play, and then Morophon into play shortly thereafter because his mana cost is greatly reduced because he's also a Hydra, then any shapeshifters that we have in our hand that are also, they have Changelings, so they're also Hydras, we could pretty much cast almost all of them for free. Think about that. That's an amazing ability. Additionally, whenever a creature we control becomes a target of a spell, Gargos Vicious Watcher fights up to 1 target creature we don't control. So this is going to give us some additional spot removal, similar to what Grist offers. And that's a nice added feature in a deck that's kind of, well, it's definitely not an uber competitive deck. So we want to be able to make sure we have some resources available for us to, keep our opponents within striking distance. And I do believe Gargo's Vicious Watcher will definitely accomplish that for us. Now, again, through gameplay, if it appears that the triple green is not doable and it's just not feasible, it's his presence in the hand is just ineffective and unable to get cast, well, then we'll come back here and we'll find a revision, or we'll just exile him from the Changeling Pool. But as it stands right now, Gargos is in as Changeling representative for the Hydra tribe. You are number 83. Splash. And there you have it, MTG Burgeoning Community. Our Changeling Pool is now 83 tribes deep. Do you have any suggestions you'd like to make? Let me know in the comments section below. This is MTG Burgeoning, your channel for all things Magic.